So that was my video on the Outer Banks. I shot most of this video on my crappy Samsung phone, so I hope the video comes out okay and not too grainy. I'm currently in the US, staying in my fiance's hometown, so I'll hopefully get a couple of videos out about my time in the US while I'm here. So let's talk about the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks are situated in North Carolina, which is on the east coast of the United States, and it refers to this thin strip of land which can be seen highlighted in red here, and is surrounded to the west by the Sound, which is an inland body of water, and to the east by the Atlantic Ocean. As you can see from the map, it's a really thin strip of land comprised mostly of beach and sand dunes. And that animation took me a long time to make. So the Outer Banks is primarily a holiday home location for people on the east coast of the United States, and from here you can easily rent a beach house or a boat while you're staying there. We were only here for one day though, so we didn't do either of those things. One of the first locations that we stopped off at was Jockeys Ridge. And Jockeys Ridge is this huge sand dune. In fact, it's the biggest sand dune on the east coast of the United States. And in fact, when you're in it, it looks more like a desert rather than a sand dune. Jockeys Ridge is what's known as a living sand dune, which means it's constantly changing its shape and size. So every season it's different, and the height can vary from about 80 feet to 100 feet. So on this trip, I was with my now fiancée Jordan and her dad, and we drove about the length of the Outer Banks in this one day. Ideally, we would have stayed longer to rent some of the beach houses or rent a boat to stay on the beach, but we kind of did this mostly in one day, which is perhaps a little too much because we didn't get back to our hometown, which is Chesapeake, Virginia, until about 4:30 a.m. So you'll have noticed in the main video, I highlighted a lot of lighthouses. So as you can imagine, with it being such a thin strip of land surrounded by sea on both sides, you're gonna need a lot of lighthouses. And along the Outer Banks, there's lots of information about these lighthouses, mainly how they helped during World War II against the German U-boats, and how there has been a number of mistakes and a number of ships have sunk over the years. I imagine this would be a good place for diving because there's a lot of sunken ships off the coast of the Outer Banks. The most interesting of the lighthouses to me was the Hatteras Lighthouse, which was the biggest one we saw during that day. And this was most interesting to me because the location of the lighthouse had actually moved. They had to move the lighthouse because of the nature of the Outer Banks. The shoreline is constantly changing because it's such a thin strip of land. And basically, the shoreline had moved to about within 120 feet of the lighthouse, which meant that it would almost certainly be eroded and almost certainly collapse if it was left in its location. To move the lighthouse, they used a crane and they kind of built a train track, and they moved it really slowly, just a couple of feet a day. So they moved the lighthouse to a new location, which was about 2,900 feet away, or about 890 meters. This is a pretty impressive feat because the lighthouse weighed just under 5,000 tons. Now, final location of the day was Ocracoke Island. Again, this island is like a thin strip of land that's part of the Outer Banks, and it's a holiday location for people on the East Coast. By this point of the day, we didn't have that long to spend there, but the island looked really nice. I wish I could have spent more time there. Maybe the next time we come back, we'll rent a place and spend the weekend. One thing I liked about Ocracoke Island and the Outer Banks in general is the abundance of seafood restaurants. So we ate at a couple of seafood places that day. You can see in my main video, I had the Smackanally's restaurant, and it's surrounded by an ocean, so therefore the seafood's just gonna be really good. I ate a lot of shrimp, ate a lot of oysters, and I tried new fish I'd never tried before, which is mahi-mahi. Which, after looking it up, it's a pretty strange looking fish. It's a type of dolphin fish. The only problem we had with Ocracoke Island was there's only one ferry to get off. It only comes at certain times, and there was a queue. So as we were trying to leave the island, we tried to leave around 8:30, but we couldn't get on the ferry till about midnight because all the ferries in front of us were full, which meant that we didn't get back to about 4 or 4:30 a.m. This was a little bit annoying, but we slept in the car while we waited. The benefit of this was we got to see this cool thunderstorm as we were riding back to the shore. So that's about it for my time in the Outer Banks. I hope you enjoyed my video. Like I said, I'm hoping to do a couple more videos based in the United States while I'm here. If you watched this far in my video, I'm going to ask you for one more favor. If you could please like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'm a small channel, I'm growing but slowly but surely. It would really help me if you would like my video and subscribe to my channel, because that way it will help this video get into the hands of people who might enjoy this kind of thing. So thank you very much for watching my video, and goodbye.